That's when Meatball's like, what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do with this? This ain't nothing. Like, I
don't care. Why you holding a knife like
holding
that?
it mad strong, like this too. Like she was like
she got
ready,
issues.
like sitting there, like girl,
like she wish it was a real knife.
Oh, D, she was really like,
yo,
like why are you doing the most? Like you're pissing me the off.
Her dusty ass. But it was so funny how DTV's like, you see these? And she points to her boobies. She's like, they're deflatable. I was crying.
This the kind of beat to go. This the kind of beat to go. This the kind of beat to go. Rock, top, top.
Welcome back to another episode of the Petty Headquarters. I'm your host, Tiana Locke, and this is
Jessie Strange.
And of course, we are back at it again with another motherfucking Baddies recap. You guys love to hear about the baddies. And of course, today we're going to be reviewing the last episode. So yeah, I know a lot of people, this was the last episode in the season. The season came to an end. So yeah, we're gonna go and talk about it.
Jump right into it.
Yeah, let's jump right into it.
But before we begin, to all those who are new, welcome to the Petty Headquarters. We are a pop culture podcast. We cover reality TV,
celebrity drama, Zeus Network, things like that. We do want to cover Joseline's Cabaret. I know a lot of people have been asking for that. So if you guys are new, that is who we are. So welcome to the Petty Headquarters. If you hear something you like, or if you hear something you don't like, still stick around. Maybe you could get a new perspective. So with that being said, let's just get into your daily dose of mess, or weekly dose of mess. So the last episode just starts off from, I guess, the girls are in Santo Domingo, and basically, they're showing Biggie is in charge of like showing all the girls around. They just left her family's place, and now they're just doing some shopping. And in the midst of that, Biggie and Anna get into an argument. Is that one of the first things we see, or is there something else?
I mean, well, it first starts off with Natalie telling Biggie that, they're going to split the girls. I do want to mention
that's right.
Yeah, I do want to mention how, of course, she picks her clique, which ends up being like Scotty, Rolly, Sapphire, Jayla, and again, it reflects the cliquiness of the show.
Right.
But yeah, so they're going to go do the charity work. And then Biggie's going to show the rest of the girls around.
So that's one thing that we did notice and that we did talk about, like the clickiness of Baddies itself just makes it feel so weird. And that's why I feel like fans of the show, or just people that watch the show, always have a problem with the show overall, because it never feels genuine. It's always the same bitches coming back. It's very cliquey. And then when there's new girls, girls being girls, they like to, get into their feelings about new girls coming in and get very catty and competitive. So this is what we see, and I don't know, it's just not cute. I'm not gonna lie, in that first part of the episode, I walked away to go use the bathroom because I was like, I don't give a fuck about what y'all are saying. Like, y'all are not saying nothing different, nothing new. Like, this last episode was trash. Like
100%. I feel like this whole season, I feel like we felt like that a lot this season. But I guess we'll get into that once we get into our feelings about the whole season itself. But this part right here is where they're going through the tour, like you were saying. And I think here's where you really see Anna being just annoying, right? Like, and she's doing absolutely nothing wrong. Like, it's playful, right? So the tour guide's taking them around, and she starts dancing merengue with them, and then she gets scared by the baseball guy, and she's just very rah, rah, rah. But I feel like the only reason why I'm mentioning all these things is because it will show why I feel the way I feel when her and Nunu get into it later on in the episode, because Anna's loud and annoying.
Very.
And when she's drunk or drinking, it's like 10
even worse.
times worse. Exactly. So I just feel like, yes, it was playful, but I want to pin a thought on that.
So then after that, of course, the scene takes us into where, the girls are shopping. Biggie bought her own, what is this, a grabba leaf? I don't fucking know. Anywho, I don't smoke. I don't fucking know. So yeah, Biggie gets her own shit. Tasiki got hers. Apparently, Tasiki had also gotten some from Biggie, but Tasiki had paid for hers, which is what you hear her say along the way in the episode.
That's what she said.
Right. And Anna was asking to get some of Biggie's, but she, I guess, just wanted one, right? And then they get into this whole fucking useless, stupid argument of like whether Anna should just buy her own leaf. It's only $25, just buy it. And then Anna gets mad because she feels like, Biggie, you're trying to play in my face and with money, like you're trying to make it seem like I don't got money to buy it. But then why are you being stingy? It's just like one I'm asking for. And honestly, it was so dumb. Even me saying it and repeating it, I feel like I sound stupid. That's exactly how stupid their argument was. And I was really over it. And Anna getting in Biggie's face. I mean, honestly, I didn't really care because that's what they do. They really do act like sisters, cousins. I don't fucking know. They be arguing and they love each other. So I don't really give a fuck. But that was so weird. Like, what?
Yeah, but like let's dissect this a little bit for a second though, because right, it's so stupid, this whole argument, right? But it really, truly, if Anna wanted to leave and she really, I mean, it was $25, what was the problem, right? Like, and I guess, like, you know, it's giving tight on money.
Or maybe she just didn't have, like, maybe she didn't want to use her US dollars. I don't know. Or if she had US dollars or if they converted it. I don't know.
Let's be real. Tight on, it's giving tight on money. Let's call the cap on all that shit, because like
I was trying to get benefit of the doubt. Like, what if she didn't want to use her US dollars because they be stealing? Like, I don't know.
Do you remember when I wanted hookah and I couldn't get hookah from somebody who had it? And
this was in DR.
No, me and you. Remember when we had a hookah here and we weren't allowed to use it. So so then what did I do? I went to the store and I bought, definitely overpaid. I ended up paying like $200 for a hookah, the whole setup. And that's because fuck it. Don't tell me I can't do that. The fuck, especially if I feel embarrassed about, oh, you don't think I got money? Oh, okay, bet. I'll drop it. Was it ego involved? Yes. Was it to prove a point or to, you know, get what I want? Because you can't, what, you telling me you can't share?
Yeah.
So my thing is this, if you really had it, wouldn't you spend it?
Honestly, I'm the same way. Like, if you're gonna act like that with me too, okay, I'll buy my own.
Yeah.
Okay. And honestly, naturally, I'm already like that because I don't need nobody playing in my face or saying anything to me in regards of anything or anything behind my back. Like, oh, she's leeching. I'd be dead before you say that about me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be dead before you say that about, because like, no, I'm just gonna get my own. I'm not gonna ask you for help. I'm not gonna ask you for anything.
Especially if there's cameras around, which you could tell Anna was bothered by. She's like, I'm not gonna have this conversation with you in front of the cameras. But then my thing is, then why didn't you just buy it?
Yeah. Like, we could have cut this scene very short.
100%.
It was very not needed.
And granted, Biggie may be stingy because this isn't the first time you've heard them say, oh, like, she's stingy with food. I've noticed that too throughout the season. You would see that maybe she is, right? I'm not saying that Anna's not wrong on that. But my thing is that, I don't know, like, this whole conversation was stupid. Just go fucking buy yourself the leaf. Even Tasiki said it, you know what I mean? Even Biggie.
Tasiki was just like, I bought mine.
Right. Like, I don't know.
Like, so yeah, that was essentially it. And then after that, we go into this next scene of, I guess, Nunu and Anna. You know, Nunu looks like she's ready to fight Anna at this point, and security is trying desperately to break it up. And in the midst of this, Nunu says in her confessional, like, at this point, she overhears Anna on the phone, just basically venting about the whole Biggie situation.
Yeah, it was the producer.
And then with the producer, okay, so she was talking to the producer and she was venting about the whole Biggie situation. But then as she continues to vent, she starts going in, talking about all these new girls. I guess they have something to prove and all this stuff. Basically bring up the new girls. Mm-hmm. Nunu overhears her. And at this point, she's like, all right, I'm fucking fed up with you.
Yeah.
I am fed up with you. Yes, production told me to fucking start with you for a storyline. Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
I really didn't know you or have any beef with you, but now you're pushing it.
100%.
Why the fuck is our name in your mouth? Whether you saying me, you saying new girls, that's me, bitch. Mm-hmm. So at this point, she is livid, she is upset, and she is trying to get to Anna because she's doing too much running her mouth, not running up. Running her mouth and not running up is crazy combination.
100%.
And then on top of that, again, just throwing rocks, hiding your hand, sneaking people when they're down, throwing Big Kiva's wig in the water. It's just ugly. It's not cute. Knowing you have Tasiki on your side, it's ugly. It's giving Chihuahua, and I don't even know what Tasiki is. Big dog next to you. Pitbull. Yeah, Pitbull protecting the Chihuahua. That's what it's giving.
Yeah, she's protected
Not
by
cute.
Tasiki and protected by her
Lemmy.
injury reserved title.
And Lemmy, I guess, because, you know, Smiley did release a video on her story about Anna calling Lemmy baby. I mean, it could be harmless. Nobody really batted an eye at it. Nobody really cared. But I mean, why are you calling another man baby? That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah, I guess. But some girls in the industry like that.
In the bartending industry.
In that industry, period. Because let's be real.
I guess. But Anna was never, like, I don't know.
She's a baddie. How you think she got on there?
She was a stripper?
No, but look at her. Like, she's the type of girl that will say anything to get free drinks and to get her thing paid for, and that's it. I mean, we know girls like that all the time. Baby is really, and honestly, like, you know me, like,
harmless, I guess.
It is
to girls like that, but to girls like me that doesn't play around like that, don't call me baby, and I'm not calling you baby because I don't fucking know you. But that's just me. Okay. So with that being said, I don't know. She's protected by Zeus, aka Lemmy. She's protected by her injured reserve title, and she's protected by Tasiki. Clearly, if we're gonna keep it a buck.
And I do want to talk about that because with Nunu, right? I can understand what she was saying as far as overhearing Anna, because first of all, Anna's loud as fuck.
Right.
And second of all, there is a clip. We haven't watched the auditions yet, but there's a clip of Anna in the Midwest auditions bringing up Big Kiva and Nunu again in that context of this is why you have Big Kivas and Nunu's coming in here, yada, yada, yada. And basically using them as an example while also putting them down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not surprised that, you know, like, I'm not doubting what Nunu is saying is true, even though they edited to be like it was like out of nowhere and this thing. I feel like Nunu's onto something and she's right. And I 100%. Hope she stands on that and the reunion.
Apparently, you know, she does. And Anna did go live talking about how it was mad easy fighting Nunu or whatever. I don't listen, I guess we got to see for ourselves and see what is up. But that's the energy that I guess Anna had in her live. So we will see. We will see what's really tea. But yeah, with that being said, you know, security doesn't let Nunu get to her. And Nunu looked really fed up in that clip. Like at that point, she looked like, all right, this is real now, bitch. Like I'm not playing with you no more. Like I was playing with you before. I'm not playing with you anymore. So, and then what happens after that?
Well, you actually skipped a part because that actually happened right after the scene where Natalie goes to the women's center with her clique.
And that's right. Yeah, because I walked away. So yeah. What happened in that scene? That's how you know it was so boring. Like that last episode, I was like, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna make my tea. I'm gonna go use the bathroom. Like, I heard it in the background, but I don't know what happened.
Okay, so you know I have a lot to say about this scene.
This is the scene. Oh wait, no, this is after. This is before. I thought this was after Nunu and Anna. This is, oh, wow.
So this scene in particular, I've been dying to talk about because here is where Natalie and her clique get off and they go to some part in Santo Domingo where they go to the women's center and they have intentions on giving money as charity work back to the country. First of all, I call cap from the beginning because any smart business, real charity work would have been done by check, not by cash. And then it really pissed me off, this whole fucking scene in particular, because we've been there. We know what the real DR is like outside of the tourism. And it is sad. It is really sad. So I think this whole scene really reflects the disconnect between reality and this Hollywood lifestyle that they live. And I feel like it is a reflection on what other countries look at Americans like. You know what I mean? Like just these out of touch people. I don't understand how you can go to a third world country. And it's one thing to be in a tourist area having all this flashy shit, right? That's one thing. But then to go with cash to this poor part of town and then to wear your fucking necklaces that are fucking thousands of dollars, you know what it gave me, this whole scene? You know what it reminded me of?
What?
It reminded me of a particular moment in life. I let that play out because we're going to remember what that looked like, right? And that's exactly what it was giving. Colonizers coming in, pretending like they're doing shit, but they're really not. And they're making fucking bread. They're exploiting these people. But okay, let's just, now you know how I feel, right? Let's just talk about it. So like, these people are so poor that they see this cash and they see these people, they see these cameras, and they're all pushing. We were doing the buggies out there, and we saw how crazy they were and aggressive in DR when it comes to seeing money. So I can't even imagine if those security guards weren't there. That somebody would have, people die for shit like that, right?
For sure.
It's like if the security guards weren't there, even if the security guards were there, to be honest, they're lucky nothing happened.
Exactly, because the way that whole scene played out, I couldn't believe that they were really up close and personal, giving them cash. Like, do you know how that looks? It just looks so bad. And when we were in DR, we wasn't even doing that. And they were like very aggressive with coming up to us, constantly trying to sell, constantly trying to upcharge, constantly trying to overcharge to get mad money out of you. And it was just so ugly and aggressive. And it just shows you like, money sometimes is really the root of all evil for like other people that don't really have it, because they will do whatever it takes to have that money. And sometimes they even do it to their own people too. And it's like really fucked up how these people are coming in here all flashy, close range, handing out money. Like, then the lady handed her baby over. Like, what did you think you got paid to give your baby up? Like, I'm so confused. Like, why did you hand your baby over?
And I think it's important to really, when we're listening to this, which is why I'm so glad we're talking about this now, and we have a platform to share this knowledge or this perspective, because when you're going into a third world country, you have to take all your first world ideologies and completely get rid of them. Because for us, it sounds crazy, right? This woman is literally handing off her baby. But when you really think about it, when you're so poor, and you saw how they live, they fucking burn little headphone wires for copper to make a few cents. That's how poor they are. So when they see these people who could possibly change their child's life, she handing over the baby like, take my baby. You can't save me, but you could save my baby.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it like that.
You know what I'm
saying? Because she took the money, then handed over her baby. So I was just really confused.
And that's how these people think. And that's why I say we have to get rid of our first world ideologies, because it won't make sense. And we'll look at it like, yo, these people are aggressive. These people are this and that. But really, they're just poor. And that means they'll do whatever it takes to get money. And I feel like the real evil is Zeus Network.
Yeah, 100%,
going in there, 100%. Exploiting these people.
I just don't understand why they thought it was a good idea to hand out cash and in front of a mob of people. That whole situation was so dangerous.
Exactly.
I thought you guys were smarter than that.
They're not.
They're
not. They're
I just don't understand. It was, and then they were so shocked when it was happening. Like, they were so shocked. And I'm like, how are you that shocked?
Yeah.
And it just goes to your point of just out of touch with reality. And probably you don't be hanging around people like that anyway.
You don't travel.
Right. You clearly don't travel. And when you do, you travel to like the expensive areas. So you don't really go into the town and see how shit really is.
Real culture.
Very out of touch. They were super shocked. I'm like, that's what happens, right? In third world countries, especially when you go out, outside of the nice areas, this is what it looks like. This is the reality, and this is what happens. I don't know.
I think it's a reflection on Zeus Network and how out of touch they are, because let's be real, they don't know the difference between reality TV and real life anymore. At this point,
they like to blend the two, it seems like.
Natalie lives this life. Look at her throwing these signs up like gang signs, but she want to talk about is baddies. That's blood signs that she throws up. In real life, there's real life consequences.
Right.
You meet the wrong person and it's really bad.
Right.
Look what happened to real rappers in real life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel as though the baddies need to stay the fuck away from third world countries, stay the fuck away from Caribbean islands, because this right here, this scene in particular, is the reason why they should. Stay the fuck away. Your idea of baddies fits perfectly in America, maybe in the UK. But as far as these third world countries, please just stay the fuck away, because I feel like when you have the two total polar opposites of things coming together, it really just shows the evilness of baddies, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I hated that scene. It made me cringe the entire time.
It was an ugly scene.
It was so ugly, and I was just so over it.
Yeah, that scene was not cute. I was over it. Even Scotty said in her confessional, like, yeah, we should have just did a check. We should have did a check. I would have been safer. This is very dangerous.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to do that at close range.
I
Handing
feel
out
like
wads of cash
it was
is wild.
And also a part of me feels like Lemmy did it on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? You think it'll be content worthy?
Well, why is that? Like, I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, there should be a limit. Like, why would you... It's weird because they try to make themselves look good.
Yeah, no.
And in the process, you're making yourself look worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how those two work. But
I wonder if they had to... That's how they got permission to film in DR. I wonder if there was like a thing where... Because, you know, certain countries, they are not as open, and they went into the restaurants and stuff openly. I wonder if that was like a deal. I don't understand the charity thing, but I feel like at the end of the day...
And I don't understand it either, because it's not like that charity is going towards something that's going to help build up the center or help build up these people. You know, these people you giving the money, they're going to just spend it on dumb shit. Like, they're not going to really build up anything. So I don't know.
I guess the money was supposed to go to the center,
but you
they
gave
never...
it to the individual people.
Because they never got there.
I don't know how that works. How are you even building up? That's not charity, I feel like.
No, it wasn't. It was they just threw the word charity around.
It's not real charity.
In my opinion, I think a part of me feels that Lemmy knew what he was doing, because really, tell me what content is there if you go with a check to a women's center to give $5,000 away?
I mean, but
there's
they
no
did
content.
They did it the last season. No, not the last season. Baddies West, when they went to Jamaica. No, it was some country. I forgot where.
Yeah,
and they gave a check.
They did
at the end. This was Baddies West. It was after the whole gunshot thing in Oakland or whatever. They went somewhere and then they gave a check. Bobby was on the mic and presenting the check, and they gave a check.
Carnival.
So I'm like,
they were at Carnival.
Yeah, and it was this country. I forgot the name of the country, but they did that. So I'm like, why didn't you do that this time?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like, man, yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point. So it's either one, that goes to reflect how out of touch they are, or two, content. It's more content when you're giving out cash and you have all these people fucking bombarding you for cash.
Really bad.
It was so sad.
I feel like there have been other places where they gave out cash, but I feel like this was just so bad.
I was sick of it.
And this is why that's how I felt too in DR. Like, it felt so like, oh my God, like I've been to other like Caribbean places, and yeah, you know, people try to hustle you, but it's never felt so like in your face where they would do anything just to get your money. It was a very almost predatory feeling. It felt like you were being a predator trying to get my money, and I did not like how I felt. So I rest my case.
Yeah. And you know, that goes again to when you travel to these places and you actually want to learn about the culture, and you know, there's so many things as coming from a first world country that you can pick apart and you know, take, you know, again, get upset about or feel like that, because I understand that exact feeling you're talking about. It was really aggressive. But then I also feel empathetic as fuck, because imagine being to that point where as a human you would do anything for cash. That's how much.
But that's how they
get
you. So like, I don't know. That's how they get the money, especially when, you know, the kids were like giving us flowers and then talking about $1. Like, whoa,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. No, but I definitely, ugh.
It's definitely an unfortunate situation.
It is. Sure. And I hated that scene, was so over it. I was like, get these fucking devils out of here. Because Natalie, honestly, talking about, like, even that scene when I was watching her talk about the Zeus Network wants to give back, I wanted to throw up. She was reminding me of a very evil, like the devil. I feel like, no, for real. Like, you know, the one that, the devil is always charming, always wants to make you feel like he's doing good, but like, you're not doing anything but flashing your fucking money in front of these people.
Right. Moving on, we then go to the scene where Biggie decides to take the girls to a very important part that is filled with culture, this monument in Santo Domingo. Do you remember the name of it? I don't remember the name of it, but it looked really cool. And then, while they were there, she was just explaining about it and talking about just the culture overall of DR. And I thought it was a nice moment. And then in the midst of that, the fireworks go off and it was cute. It was cute. It was cute.
I just want to touch on that because I was a little confused for a second because she was like hyping it up like, I got you all something.
Oh, she did. And she gave them something, right?
I didn't understand because I didn't see anything.
Wait. I thought she handed out the bags.
What bags?
I don't know. I thought she handed out gifts to all of them. I don't know.
Did she hand out bags? I really don't. I thought the gift was fireworks.
Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know. I'm telling you, like, I really didn't care. I really didn't care. Like,
this is what I want to talk about because I was confused what the gifts were. Did she hand out bags? Was it the fireworks? I was confused. There was this like cliffhanger of what the gift was, and I remember watching it like, what gifts? Like, I was confused. So I thought the gift was the fireworks. I don't fucking know. But this whole scene was like, so like they're all fake.
Yeah.
They're talking about baddies and all hugging.
Yeah, like, while the fireworks are going off in the sky. Like,
this whole fucking scene. Next.
Right. It was not it. You're trying too hard to be a Lifetime friendship movie, and it's not that. So yeah. Then we go on to the dinner.
I wanna quote this.
Okay.
Then we go on to the scene that Natalie calls the Last Supper.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Y'all heard that, right? The Last Supper.
She's been saying that all fucking season. She's been saying Last Supper all season. Even that part where Asian Doll and Mariah fought during the supper, she also said in the car, the Last Supper.
Bro, this girl, is it me?
It's not.
It's weird.
She's a demon. She's a demon walking amongst the earthlings.
No, for real. They all like Lemmy, you know, like
Antichrist.
Heard it here first.
I mean, just because you look like a human and you got all these flashy things, that don't mean that your spirit or your aura or your soul doesn't look like that of the devils. So
exactly, which is why when she went online talking about, I give all these people careers and money and they still betray me, I'm looking for a new whatever manager, business manager, some shit like that. I was like, of course you're gonna attract leeches like that because you're a bad person.
Yeah,
you're not a nice person. You're gonna attract not nice people.
It's just interesting, though. It's a shocker to me that you come to the internet venting, looking for sympathy. Like, that's just not... you know what? Maybe she wasn't looking for sympathy. Maybe she was just venting. But it still shocks me because...
it shocks me that you're shocked.
It shocks me that she's shocked. Yes. It shocks me that she's shocked. And I don't want to be that person, but... Because I'm guessing, she is still human at the end of the day, right?
An evil human.
Right. So it's like, I guess you are what you attract. And... I guess that's it.
So then we get into the Last Supper, right? And it starts off with Nunu and Kiva. First of all, this whole Last Supper scene was just really long and extra. I wish it was more fun. But we get to the scene and they all talk about their experience, starting with Nunu and Kiva. And you know who I didn't understand? How these bitches talk about, I had a good time.
What time did you have? Like, we did not see you at all. But you know what? I guess traveling
in the background, I guess.
Like, even if they didn't have camera time, I guess traveling was good to them, especially with Kiva. This was her first time getting her passport, so she never traveled before. So
true.
That could be like a big thing, like why it was so fun, her and Nunu, all of those things. But honestly, this whole fucking supper scene pissed me off. It was so fake. These bitches going around the line talking about, why did you have a good time? Would you come back? Like, oh my God, it was so fucking fake. It was so fucking, I don't know.
It felt like the reason why they all said they have a good time is because they want Lemmy to bring him back for Midwest. That's just my opinion. Why would you tell your boss you had a terrible time if you want to come back for the opportunity?
Right,
you know what I mean? Like, it's given a lot of...
Yeah, I mean, that's just really what it is. And then on top of that, in the midst of Nunu saying her farewell or whatever, Anna interrupts it. And then they start going back and forth. And then we just go down the line of all the other bitches. And then after that, who was next to talk about their time after Nunu and Kiva?
Well, I love to point out that Nunu was like, oh, you're going to have to stand on business. And Anna said, I always stand on business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bullface lie. But then who else was
then
after?
Callie talks. She
that's
calls
right.
Jayla.
That's right.
And Natalie
This
bullies.
is the part that I want to talk about. Callie, you know, in her outro, she was sweet, saying her farewell, saying that she had a good time, da 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 da. But she did point out that, you know, she felt like Jayla and Natalie were bullies, and of course, Natalie is. Before I get to Jayla, Natalie was so shocked. Me? How? I don't, you know what? Given your history from BGC era till today, you're really going to sit there and tell a bold-faced, blatant lie and say me and question yourself? Like, you're really going to question yourself right now. You know why? I don't know why Natalie just doesn't stand on it. You're baddie. Stand on it.
Exactly. And that goes to what I was going to say. Natalie is a fucking confessional gangster because she had all this shit to say about Callie in the confessionals, talking about shut the fuck up, so and so. But in real life, she was like, no, and very like this. And then it really was like, this is why, one, the girls will never respect you.
No.
And two, this is why Jocelyn is the fucking boss bitch and gets respected by the girls and you don't, because you just don't have that energy. Like, you're very pussy. Like, let's call it for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I would expect as the what is she? The executive producer?
Yeah.
Whatever she is.
Executive producer of the show.
I would expect you to be honest in front of, because you really have this protection of, oh, I'm, you know, hierarchy.
Right.
No one's going to fuck with me.
Right.
I would expect
but
you to.
you should have said that. You should have stood on it. But she didn't really stand on it.
No,
but
she didn't say anything.
Jayla took over and she's talking about how she's spiritual and this, that, and the third. Bitch, shut the fuck up. I am really sick and tired of, I'm sorry, I cannot stand females that act like that. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Jayla is really cool outside of the TV theatrics, right? However, I cannot stand a fucking female that loves to pretend that they're so fucking high, almighty, and spiritual and better than everyone else. I just can't stand the whole high, almighty look, and you think you're better, you think you're just above all, so that when people confront you, all of a sudden it's a shock. All of a sudden it's like, I'm not a bully, but it's like, why can't you even admit that you were a little antagonizing? And that's what bullies do. And I guess you may not like the sound of it or how it sounds, but how you were portrayed, that's what it was. And that's how you looked. Whether you're spiritual or not, whether you believe in this or not, whether you try to fucking little sis these ghetto bitches or not, that is what you are. Like, you know, like, I don't know. I'm just over it. I'm over it, I guess. But you know what? At the end of the day, everybody's human, and I guess nobody really sees what they do. So I don't know.
I want to touch on that Jayla thing because I really can't stand someone that really portrays this spiritual personality online. When tell me how you can be spiritual while also being friends with Natalie and being around Zeus Network. At the end of the day, I know for a fact Jayla has seen some stuff, because during the filming of the show, she went online talking about, I'm done with Zeus, I'm gonna expose you, I'm gonna this, I'm gonna that. Then she went silent. Then she came back and was like, oh, good, whatever happened, happened. But it's the fact that she said, I'm gonna expose you, meaning she knows the dark shit that goes on and doesn't say anything. Don't tell me you're spiritual. Don't tell me you're good-hearted when you're sitting there befriending people who are like that. Stop it. Tell me who your friends are, and I'm gonna tell you who you are, which is why I say, in order to be a certain to have a certain amount of money and to be a certain level of success, you unfortunately have to compromise certain things. And that's fine, but don't try to force this idea of, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm mature, when you're just like everyone else in that table.
So yeah, in conclusion, Jayla, get the fuck out of here with the spiritual bullshit. That's really not who you are. You're not that girl. As much as you try to perceive that you are with your blonde hair and wearing white everywhere you go as if you're some angel, you're not that.
So yeah, and then Tink talks and does her whole dramatic scene with her and Meatball.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna hold you. Like, the internet is blowing up about how they feel like that scene is so fake and it's so staged. And Camilla went online and was like, it's giving actress. I didn't see any real tears. And I'm just like, you know, people can be hurt and not cry, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be bawling her eyes out all the time. And even if she was, you would have still said she was an actress. Said the same thing about Smiley. So moving
True.
on, you know, it's just annoying. Like you bitches are so fucking annoying. And Camila, you're not even on the show anymore. Like shut up and stop talking about baddies or anything related.
I mean, she's smart, right? And this is the same thing.
What, she's trying to get back?
No, I feel like there are certain girls that stay talking about baddies or kind of because they want to ride the tail even though they're not in it.
But that's what bothers me. You were on VH1 on a good show. Stay there. Like, why are you still you're not a normal person like everyone else. You were on Bad Girls Club and you were on Baddies. So I don't know. I think it's
maybe
funny.
It's just me. I think it's funny that she's commenting on it because it's like Camila has a bunch of things that they could pick her apart about, you know, with her baby daddy and her whole situation. So it's just funny to me because, I mean, she's just doing that for marketing. I mean, my opinion. Or she could just be a consumer of the show. And
maybe
there's nothing wrong with that.
Maybe it's for marketing. I don't know.
But I do want to point out that while fucking Tink is having this whole emotional scene about her sister betraying her, we all know this fucking story already. We don't even really have to touch on that. But it's so funny because in the middle of that, out of nowhere, they cut to the scene because fucking Natalie goes, "Oh, Mariah's coming," or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And they cut to the scene where Mariah Lynn is walking, bro. It cracked me up because I didn't even notice she was gone. I was like, oh shit, Mariah looking like a ghost coming over here, like the ghost from Christmas Past you can't get rid of.
You could tell Natalie did not give a fuck about what Tink and Meatball was going through. She was over it. She was twitching. She was looking at the time.
Too emotional.
She was looking around. She was just like, all right, like y'all doing too much. Like she even cut the shit short.
Yeah, she
like,
had to
you know, and I'm not gonna lie, with that scene, I felt that scene. I felt like that was like the realest storyline we got throughout this entire season was Tink and Meatball's whole situation. And I don't know, like whether I wouldn't say she was acting. To say she was acting is so extra. I just feel like Tink is already naturally animated and extra.
100%.
So, you know, I felt that scene because it's like just to feel betrayed by someone you thought was like really close to you, like I don't know. I felt those emotions through the screen. And like, I don't even know if Meatball cared. She seemed like she did, but has a hard time apologizing. So that is what I felt through the screen. And, you know, obviously it was cut short because they were just like, all right, we're not going to do this. We're not going to do this. Then they go on to the next person. Mariah, did she have anything to say? Like, there was really nothing, right? She just came in and like that was it. At some point, Diamond does get up and go to the other side though, because Meatball has a fucking butter knife in her hand.
Yeah, you missed. All right, wait, hold on. You skipped the part.
I skipped so many parts because I don't care.
Yeah, because there was a part where it was Meatball's turn right after Tink, because Natalie goes, "Do you have anything to say about that?" And Meatball, first of all, like you said, you could see here and there that Meatball has a hard time apologizing because she's like, I'm not a sorry bitch, but I apologize. And after this, we gonna be sisters. And Tink is like, no, I'm done. And it goes to reflect on Meatball's mentality, right? Because she's the type that don't want to talk and just be like, okay, everything is good again.
Right.
And don't want to apologize. But she just wants to forget about it and keep it moving. She really thought that after this, Tink and her were going to be good again. And it just reflects her childish mentality. But a part of her confessional, she said that these girls, she didn't really fuck with this whole thing. Like, she didn't like that the girls were too charismatic.
I don't even know if I should get into that because it's showing me that you don't read. And when I heard that, I was like, did you mean characteristic? Like, you know, don't piss me the fuck off. Don't piss me the fuck off. You already show up on the show looking how you do with your belly out all the time, you know, and now you have proven to me that you don't open a book. And I don't really like those qualities in anybody, frankly. So I don't have much to speak on that when it comes to that, because I mean, I get it. Not everybody could read a book or know how to spell or.
But I do have a question for you, because before the show began, you were really excited to see Meatball. You knew who Meatball was prior on TikTok prior to this. So now I want to ask you a question. After seeing the season, what is your how do you feel about Meatball being on here? I know you were really excited. Like, what is your being someone that knew about her and was really excited to see her on the screen.
Well,
what are your
first
thoughts?
and foremost, I already knew she was, what's the word? I don't know the word, but I already knew she was a little like
Dusty?
that. Yeah, like I already knew she was a little like that. But I thought like her coming on Baddies would kind of like not force, but have some character development within her. Like I thought she would at least like, I know she still show up as herself, but I thought she would at least, at least try to look the part when going out. Like I get it, if you're in the house, okay, but when going out, I guess expected her to at least try to look the part, at least have some type of growth. But I keep forgetting that she's young too, so I guess no, there wasn't really any growth. I would have loved to see some character development in her. I feel like that's what I like about these shows, is that towards the end you do see character development in certain aspects. But with her, it was just very stagnant. And I guess what threw me off about her completely was when she pulled out the knife and was threatening J.O. That really just turned me off completely from her, because it's never that serious, girl. It is never that serious. So, I mean, other than that, that's my thoughts on her.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Nice. I think that Meatball is an example of how TikTokers should remain TikTokers, because the reason why these 6-second videos or these 30-second videos go viral and they catch traction is because you don't know who they are in 30 seconds. You don't know. And I feel like when you're in a show, you obviously get to know who they really are. And honestly, truly, in my opinion, and y'all can comment what you think about Meatball as a baddie, but I don't think Meatball is a baddie at all. And I can't wait to talk about the chain situation, because then I'll express more on how I feel.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, there is, like you said, a point where DTP, she talks about her experience. She talks about she lives for this shit. She loves this shit. She had a good time. She'll fight all these girls again, which I think is funny. And then Tasiki talks about, which I want to quote this real quick. Okay, so first thing when Tasiki speaks, she goes, the first thing she says was, I had a good time or whatever, and I got to vibe with my girl Tink. And of course, Meatball she said this. Meatball farts with her mouth. She goes like this with her thumbs down. And then she goes, who cares? Like, bitch, what the fuck? Do you remember that?
I remember.
And then I don't know, because it looked like it was edited a certain way. So I don't know if it was edited to feed into the narrative of Meatball being a jealous bitch.
Yeah.
But even if so, why, again, the fart noise, the thumbs down, Meatball is very childish. She's very emotionally immature, and it shows. And she just annoys the shit out of me. And I really can't stand her. But then also Tasiki says, she talks about how girls don't respect each other, and how, y'all shouldn't be fighting over nothing, because a real fight, she says, I reconstruct faces, I traumatize people. And I thought that was like fucking poetic, because all I could think about in that scene was, I reconstruct faces and I traumatize people. What did she do to DTB? Bro, and I'm like, oh my God, she is dead ass. I would be afraid of fucking
She
Tasiki.
was just like, if y'all can't fight, why you fighting? Like, if you're not fighting like that, if tooth missing, black eye, face broke, why you fighting? Like,
yo,
that's really what it is.
For real. But then, like you said, DTB ends up moving to the other side, because she see Meatball fucking holding the fucking butter knife like this.
And then that's when Diamond makes her comment like, oh, I don't know, she holding that knife. And then that's when Meatball's like, what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do with this? This ain't nothing. Like, I don't care. Why you holding the knife like that? Holding it mad strong like this too. Like she was like she got ready, issues. Like sitting there like girl,
like she wish it was a real knife.
Oh, D, she was really like, yo, like, why are you doing the most? Like, you're pissing me the fuck off.
Her dusty ass. I can't with Meatball. She fucking she irks me. But it was so funny how DTB's like, you see these? And she points to her boobies. She's like, they're deflatable. I was crying. I'm like, yo,
that was funny. Yeah. That was funny. And, I mean, she's right. She's right.
And then Anna crying.
Oh, do we really have to go down the line? I guess we do, but that's how you know it was such a boring ass episode. It was such a fluff lackluster episode that I don't even care. Like Anna starts crying about, I guess, whatever situation she was going through. And it was just like annoying because in the midst of her crying, Nunu makes a comment. What did she say?
She said stop running your
oh
fucking
yeah,
mouth.
so then stop running your mouth. Exactly. And I was like, yo, factual information.
No, for real.
Factual information.
So glad that shit made me laugh. Like for real. Like, yeah, someone's clock it. The fuck? You crying and all this shit when it's like, but you do it to yourself sometimes.
Yeah. So, and then after that, who goes? Who talks? Who talks before the whole
Sapphire does that weird talk.
Oh my God, she said that weird shit. And then she starts crying in the midst of saying that, you know, she's here for her own brand. Like, bitch, we know. Like, you sacrifice your best friend for it. We know.
I hope so.
But it looked like that's probably why she started getting emotional, because she knows she had to sacrifice her friend to get there. So in the midst of talking about, like, you know, I don't care about all this bullshit. I don't need to fight. I don't need to do this, or whatever the fuck she was saying. She was talking about how she's here for her brand, and that's it. Okay. That's it. So I think that while talking about that, she must have thought about the fucked up shit, her wrongdoings. And that's probably why she cried, because, bitch, why are you crying? Like, you have no reason to cry, but okay.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I was wondering why she was crying, and I guess that's a good perspective, because I was like, what the fuck is she crying about?
I was so confused. Why are you fucking crying?
Shout out to emotional baddies, I guess.
What happened after who else was
then Jayla
Oh,
talks.
Jayla, I'm over her. Skip
over her.
Next.
Mariah Lynn, Asian, Rolly, Scotty. They all do a little brief fake ass. We love Zeus. Thank you for the opportunities.
Then Natalie.
Natalie, she talks about what she looks for in a baddie. Right. She says she wants a boss ass bitch. And then she tells everybody that, hey, I have another chain. I want to get it. You know, and I was wondering when Meatball was gonna get her chain, because obviously we knew she got a chain just because of the confessional look. She wore it in there.
So going on to that scene with Natalie with the whole chain, first I just thought this was so calculated. Of course you do this at the last episode, aka the Last Supper, to have these final 2 chains, and she's only giving them to 2 people or some shit like that. It was only one chain
at
right?
the time. At the moment, there was only announced one chain.
That's
between Callie, Meatball, and DTB.
Right.
They had a vote. Who's the baddie that deserves this chain? Rolly goes on talking about, this is how it transitioned, but she was like, Nunu and Kiva stood on business. If you don't give them a chain, you know, then I don't know what the fuck a baddie is.
Right. And let's put a pin there, because I want to go back to Rolly's statement about, you know, upping up or bigging up Big Kiva and Nunu. Then after that, what happened?
So that's when Natalie announces it. Then they all vote. They mentioned Meatball first. Everyone lifts their hand up, including Tink.
I wanna just clock this, because I know for a fact y'all all did not care if Meatball received a chain.
Pity.
It was like a pity vote, because you felt bad for her. You felt bad for her because she's crying so much. It was literally, you gave her a sympathy chain. Like, you gave her the chain to shut her up. That is why you gave her the chain. You didn't give her the chain because you genuinely felt in your heart and spirit that she deserved one. Because if that was the case, Rolly would have said Meatball from the beginning. 100%. But no, she said Big Kiva and Nunu. She never mentioned Meatball. So after the vote, right, everybody's hands flew up for Meatball. Callie, few hands. DTB, few hands. Diamond doesn't really care. That's when Diamond goes in and decides to make a comment about how, like, you're only raising your hand because you feel bad. 1, 2, Meatball's been nothing but jealous and, like, being a hater over Tink getting her chain. And then in the midst of that, Rolly, I guess, got upset with Diamond in that moment. Natalie also got upset with Diamond in that moment, which was so fucking weird to me. That's when Rolly decides to aggressively get up and then give Meatball the chain. And to me, it felt like she did it on purpose just to basically spite DTB and what she was saying. 100%. It didn't feel like you genuinely thought that Meatball deserved that chain, because if you genuinely did, you would have said that from the beginning. But 100%. No, you said Big Kiva and Nunu.
Right, which none of those girls were even voted for the Baddies chain
Exactly.
anyways,
Natalie not once brought them up. So then, of course, Rolly aggressively gets up and gives Meatball the chain. And of course, Meatball is sitting there like, and I'm just looking at the screen like, you guys are all fucking dumb, bro. Like, you guys are really dumb bitches. And y'all would have hated me too, because I would have said something just like Diamond. Y'all would have hated me and would have went off on me too, because y'all are fucking stupid. What are you talking about?
100%. And not for nothing. First of all, Diamond looked kind of over it by that scene.
Yeah.
That whole scene, she was kind of like over it. You could tell like she's finally going to tell you the truth of how she feels.
Yeah.
And she did. And I admire that about DTB, is that she's not afraid to tell you the truth. She's not afraid to tell you she's cloud chasing. She's not afraid to tell you she's going to fight you and then be cool with you after. She's also not afraid to clock Natalie when she's being fucked up and a hypocrite, because she doesn't need Natalie. When it was so funny, because when Natalie was holding that chain and you see that little baddie thin little fucking Swarovski fucking chain, and there's no disrespect, because a chain is a chain. However, when DTB, you see the switching of the scenes and you see that flashy, big, expensive DTB necklace on her, it's no wonder DTB don't care. That shit puts the Baddies chain to shame. It puts the Baddies chain to shame.
You're crying over this little tiny ass, thin ass chain is crazy.
Thin, and then fucking Meatball looking like she never had anything expensive in her life.
Never. Talking about,
right.
Like, girl, you're embarrassing me. I feel secondhand embarrassment from you right now. I'm cringing.
It's so weird. And it's like, girl, have you never had anything expensive? And honey, I'm pretty sure, like, did you think you're gonna what? Turn it into the jeweler and get some cash? Like,
no, I guess it's like a rite of passage. That's what it gave. Like, this is a sorority. This is your rite of passage. This shows that you have now fully been initiated into the baddies realm. That's the whole, I feel like that is the whole symbolism of this baddie chain. That's what it feels like to me. And that's why there's so much high regard into getting one. There's so much validation into receiving one, which really is stupid to me, but that is how they're framing it. That's how they're making it look. And that's why Meatball is acting the way she looks, because why? She's mentally weak.
Yeah,
and that's just what it is.
First of all, this shit is fucking crazy. That's all I gotta say, because let's not forget the reason why this chain is even a thing. Shout out to Smiley, because the reason that this is a thing to begin with is because of Smiley storyline, 1. And 2, the only person that's holding the real validation to this chain as much as it is Meatball, and Meatball alone, because Meatball's the one that made it such a big deal, where to the point where she really ruined her relationship with her sister for it. Because look at someone like DTB. Yeah, it's a symbolism to his quote-unquote sorority or rite of passage, but she don't give a fuck because she don't need it. Like, she's a boss bitch without her, without that Baddies chain. Clearly, Meatball's not. And you can tell.
Right. And it's interesting because I did hear that, online, that this whole dinner scene went on for hours. And of course, they edited out so much of it. It's crazy because to me, you could tell that scene was edited. It was just awkward. Yeah. And certain things didn't make sense. And then, Natalie getting upset at Diamond for saying, what you said was just disgusting. Like, I was so confused because I'm like, what is this acting right now? Like, are you putting on a show, and for what? Then you turn around and say, I'm gonna fly off in my helicopter now. What did that have to do with anything? What was the point of you mentioning your helicopter? Like, oh my God.
Yo, first of all,
what was the point of that whole thing?
I think that scene, her talking about I'm gonna fly off in my helicopter, was so funny, because it's so funny to watch someone who is so deeply insecure about their own personal inside, like who they are as a person, that they have to flash the materialistic things that they have, because that's all they have, right? They have nothing internally that can really stand for who they are as a person. So her talk about, I'm gonna go in my helicopter. Oh my God, this goes back to the same thing. Go in your helicopter in a third world country is jokes. Like, you're so out of touch, 1. And then 2, you know what I've noticed?
What?
They wanted to make DTB what they made Biggie and E.T. The way they edited her, the way they treated her, because apparently, according to Asian Doll, that whole Last Supper scene was filmed for 8 hours and they only put in this much, and they didn't Even Anna went online and said that Biggie and Anna raised their hands for DTB2 in the vote, but they didn't add that. And Anna spoke about it with DTB after they squashed it. You know, they spoke, but I think that they wanted to make DTB the joke of the show, which is why they edited her that way, which is why Natalie got mad for no reason, the same way she got mad at Biggie for no reason, same way she got mad at ET for no reason. Like, you know, the way she got mad at Smiley for no reason. She thought that she could do what she did to the girls, because there has to be a clown of the show. There always has to be the clown. And Zeus Network probably thought that they could do it to DTB, and she didn't allow that.
Yeah, that whole last seed was really stupid in my opinion. And then the show ended, right? There was really nothing else.
Yeah.
Like everybody had their outros and then the show ended. And
Just
I'm
like
just
that,
like,
yeah.
how awkward is that? And you know what? I'm just gonna say this, and my whole overall take on this season is that this season sucked. It was trash. And I don't think that these producers understand what it is to have different elements of a story. In a story, you have characters, right? You have plot, you have theme, you have setting, you have conflict, you have driving factor, you have resolution, solutions, you have these are all elements of storytelling. And I don't think that you guys have mastered that at all, because you may have setting, you don't have plot. You may have characters, you don't have character development. You don't have any type of growth from A to B or A to Z. I don't see any of that in this show. And I feel like that's the difference between Baddies and right now, Jocelyn's Cabaret. With Jocelyn's Cabaret, there is a story. These girls are here to compete. And at the end, there is a winning money prize, whether it's real or not. This is a story that they're telling you.
Yeah.
There's rehearsals and there's conflict and there sometimes is character development, right? Especially when certain girls are coming back and not acting the same way as they did from previous seasons. And I feel like they understand different elements of a story. And I just don't think that Baddies understands that. I really don't think that they understand how to tell a story. Because if you were a good producer, you would know how to tell a story and how to make certain dots connect. And even if you were going to stir shit up, you would know how to stir shit up in a calculated sense where this will set this off, this will set this off, and then you have a story. But they don't know how to do that. They just are focused on fights. They are just focused on, let's just get drama. Mm-hmm. The drama has to be consecutive. You can't just have random drama. And that's the problem. You guys don't know how to tell a story. Listen, y'all producers don't know how to be producers. I don't know. I really don't know. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, it's true. I feel like that was always an issue with Baddies, in my opinion. The only difference is there are so many other girls now that you don't, like I said before, you don't have time to attach yourself to a specific baddie. I can't tell you that, well, I guess this last episode earned DTB MVP of the season, because everyone's like, oh shit. And this is a huge plot twist, because the whole time hated DTB, couldn't stand her, but you really saw who she really was that last episode.
Especially filming for 8 hours. You over it.
You can see who she was. She showed her real self, no clout chaser. Like, this is her goodbye. This is who I really am. And I'll fight y'all again for TV, but this is it. And I feel like her clocking Natalie, a lot of people saw it. You see it in the comments. Everyone sees it. She don't even got to say nothing. But we forgot about Aubrey O'Day. We forgot about the twins, Tommy, It's Dia, Slim Too Bad. Who else was here? There, Gretch. Like, you know, there were so many girls that you couldn't really pick a favorite new baddie. Yeah. You couldn't really empathize. You couldn't really, I don't know. I mean, they forced Tink down your throat, but Tink is cool. I got nothing wrong with Tink, but I mean, you really didn't see anything else but her shake her ass and be a good time, which is no big deal at all. I'm just saying there's no story, and there's never been a story. And I feel like that's the difference. Like, you know, and now it shows more because there are so many girls. Yeah. So just like, an overwhelming amount of fucking content, but there's no point. Like,
I feel like the problem is they just rely on like specific beefs that people have with each other, and I feel like there needs to be more than that to create a consecutive story from beginning to end, and there's just not that.
Yeah.
So
I know there's some people that felt like the supper scene and this whole last episode was a good one because it was like really chill and like whatever. And I guess to each their own. I personally did not like this season.
No, at all.
This is my least favorite season. This is the season where I really truly did not care. I had it on, but I didn't really care or emotionally invest myself the way I have in the previous seasons.
Right.
And I don't know. Hopefully Midwest is better, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very good on taking a break on Baddies.
Yeah, me too. Very good on taking that break because I just feel like I don't know. Like there's nothing to it no more. Like I don't know. I don't know. This was the worst season in my opinion too. So yeah.
And also I feel like things that rise up that quickly are bound to slow down and fall down. So I feel like this was their peak, in my opinion. I feel like they did too much this season, which you could tell by all the girls they brought in. They did too much, and I feel like it shows. I don't think they hit. This is probably the most viewers they've ever had, but I don't think it hit to the people who are gonna stay once that hype is gone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because the wave always goes up. But what keeps your business going is the foundation, the real fans. Once that wave goes down, who's gonna keep paying the monthly? Who's gonna keep watching your show?
Right.
And I feel like I'm hoping that this Midwest one they do better because they did not do their big
This
one
might just be Midwest might just be the craziest season just because it's Midwest.
You have been saying
and I did get people hitting me up talking about how, oh my God, did you see the auditions? It was crazy. And I'm like, I think it was a comment on the past YouTube video, how like the auditions were wild. It was so dark. And I'm just like, of course it was. It's the Midwest. You're talking Chicago. You're talking Detroit. Like, so it might be crazy, but I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. But I don't know. I'm pretty clocked out. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, I mean, if you guys made it this far, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Definitely comment your thoughts about this season and that overall last episode and what you guys thought about it. And yeah, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's JESSI.strange. And where can they find you, Tiana?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Randomania1. You guys can find us on Instagram at the Petty Headquarters. Just remember, we release episodes every Tuesday at 4 p.m. on YouTube, Petty Headquarters. We are also on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. So if you are just feeling like you want to turn us on, well, pause. If you want, if you want to just listen to us and not watch, if you're doing something or you're in a long drive or cleaning or whatever the case may be, you don't really have time to give visual attention, you can always give us your ear and just listen to us on our podcast. So with that being said, that is it.
Weekly?
Oh yeah. With that being said, this was your weekly dose of mess.